Hi, welcome to Foundations of Media Technology. This week, we're going to take a little break from the multimedia editing and talk about something that I think is very helpful for anyone, regardless of whether you go into mass communications or not. And that's working with Adobe Acrobat. And today, we'll be talking about how to make a fillable form in Adobe Acrobat. So, what I'm talking about here, if you've ever gone to the registrar's office or any office on Piedmont's campus, because Piedmont's pretty bad with this, and they give you a form to fill out, and you try to you download it and you try to type in, and you can't type in. They want you to print it out and actually handwrite. That is frustrating, and most places have moved beyond that. I'm hoping Piedmont will at some point. But what I'll do is show you how to make those forms fillable in Adobe Acrobat. So first up, I want to show you what we have here in our module this week. I have my handout, the tips for Adobe Acrobat, which will be the step-by-step instructions for what we're doing. I have a link to Adobe's Acrobat user guide if you want more information, as well as some tips to help you with what we're doing. The download for this week, which is real simple, it's just one Word document that will convert. And then, of course, here is where you're going to go ahead and upgrade or upload rather your finished project. I went ahead and downloaded and opened up the Word document that is in the file, Adobe Acrobat practice form. And you can see here, this form is a very simple form. It really doesn't make any sense, but it will make sense once we make our practice form here. Just asking for some basic information, highest level of education. We're going to put a drop down list there. And what's your favorite restaurant? Were you born in Georgia? And a signature. Again, the form doesn't make sense. It really isn't supposed to make much sense. It's just for practice purposes. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to save this as a PDF. Most of you already know how to do this, but in Word, it's very simple. You just go under File and you go under the Print option, okay? And PDF is on the lower left-hand corner of your options here. You want to click Save as PDF, and then it asks you where you want to save it. I'm just going to save this to my desktop. Keep the name Adobe Acrobat Practice Form, and I'll just go ahead and click Save. And that's step one, very simple, saving it as a PDF. I'll go ahead and exit out of this to get out of Word now. Now I'm going to open up my Adobe Acrobat practice form. Now this might be a little tricky depending on what Mac you're using in the Mac lab. A lot of times Apple presets PDFs to open up in its Apple preview page. You don't want it to do that. You want it to open up in Adobe Acrobat. So to make sure it does that, you want to hit Control and click on it. And here it says Open With. For my computer, my default file is Adobe Acrobat. For you, it might be Preview, which is an Apple product. But on this list, you should see Adobe Acrobat as an option. Go ahead and click Adobe Acrobat, and it will open up and look like this. Now, Adobe Acrobat is a program that comes with the Creative Suite. It's a program that a lot of people who don't use Creative Suite, like businesses, will actually subscribe to because it's relatively inexpensive and it gives you a lot of options to work with forms. Don't get confused with Adobe Reader, which is a free version that allows people to read PDFs. So anyone can download that. It's pre-downloaded on a lot of PCs already. You actually need to use Adobe Acrobat to do what we're going to do today and actually to create a form. Adobe Reader just allows you to view forms that others have created. So I have my Adobe Acrobat screen open. It should look like this. If it doesn't look like this, I want you to go under View. I want you to go where it says Disable. It should say Enable New Acrobat. Mine says Disable New Acrobat because this is new Acrobat that's open. If yours looks a little different, you want to make sure you click Enable New Acrobat. It'll prompt you to go ahead and shut down, and then once you reopen, this is what will show up. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to prepare a form. That is on the left-hand side here. Prepare a form, and my form's already loaded here. Make sure this box, this document requires signatures, is unchecked, because if you check it, then it's going to embed certain things in the document that we're not at that level yet. We do want auto detect form field to be on, and then we'll go ahead and just click create form. So you can see here that Adobe Acrobat did a good job of recognizing where we want some things to be filled in. But it also did a bad job because it thought these little lines here were things we wanted filled in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on these lines and just simply hit delete on our computer to get rid of those. So there are other areas that we need to make fillable, and that's what we'll work with now. So for date, what I want to do is I want to put a date field there. So I'll click on date field, and I'm going to just bring it up, and you can see the little lines that show up with Acrobat to help make sure you're lined up with your previous line. I'll go ahead and just click. Now, after you click, you can see it still is giving you the option to put more date fields, which I don't want to do. So if you accidentally double click, it's okay. And sometimes you go crazy because you're like, how do I get out of this? Well, the easiest way to get out of it is just to click your arrow key, and then that changes the option here. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete those. Now in my date field, I want my date to display a certain way. So I'm going to hit Control, and I'm going to click, go to Properties, and I want to go to Format. And this gives me the option of how do I want my date to appear? Do I just want the month and the day? Single digits are okay. Do I want double digits, month, day, year? Or do I want it to be double digits, month and day, and triple digits, year? And you can see it gives you examples of how it will look. I want my 2 days, and four for the year. So I'll click close, and then I have that field done. Now, if you want to see what it will look like, you could always click on preview. And when you go into date, it allows you to select the date, and that's what it will look like. Or if I'm selecting another date, it will look like that. Go ahead and I'll exit preview real quick. And now our next option here is highest level of education. Here I want to create a little drop-down list. So I'm going to click on my drop-down list. I'll just put it here. And again, you can see it's letting me put more drop-down lists, which I don't want to do. So I'll just click the arrow. And then same thing as before, I'm going to control click on my drop-down list, go to properties, and this time I want to go to options because I want to add different options here for my drop-down list. So highest level of education, let's go ahead and just put high school under the item box, and we'll click add. I'll put some college, and I'll click add, and then I'll say college graduate. And I'll click add, and we'll hit close there. So this is now my drop-down menu. I want to make it a little wider. Whoops. A little wider so the full text can show up, and we can see how this will look in preview. Um, you have to pick one of these options. I'll go ahead and exit preview now. And here we have were you born in Georgia question. For this one, I want people to be able to just select either yes or no, right? You were either born in Georgia or you weren't. Simple question. Can't have both. We don't want you to select all that apply. So when that's the case, when you have one or two selections, or rather just one selection, you want to use the radio button, which is here. So for the radio button, I'll just put one next to yes, and I'll put one next to no. And then if we click preview, you can see here, if someone accidentally selects yes, but they meant no, it will only give them the option to click one. The next set is which restaurants do you like? Select all that apply. Now here, I specifically say select all that apply. So I want people to be able to check any of these restaurants. So for this one, I'm going to use the checkbox. And I click on that, it gives me a nice little checkbox here. So I'll put one by McDonald's, one by Chick-fil-A, one by Wendy's, one by Burger King. I'm getting kind of hungry right now. One by Zaxby's, Arby's, and you can see I'm using the little lines to help me make sure that I'm at the same level of the previous one. Okay. And I'm done with that. So I'll click on my arrow, and you can see if you click preview, you can go ahead and check as many as you want, or you could also uncheck them. And then for my signature box, it already detected that. If you click on it, it requires a digital signature. Sometimes with these forms, though, um, people will fill out every aspect of it and then they'll actually have to do a hand signature. Either way, it should be signature required, where someone will have to click on that and put a signature. So I think I'm happy with my form as it is. Again, if I click preview, I could see, make sure everything works the way I want it. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. And then exit preview, and here we go. Now, one of the things you want to make sure when you have when you were practicing with your form and filling stuff out to make sure it does, we want to make sure when we actually save it that like the check marks and my name doesn't appear on the save form. Otherwise, it will be there when we go ahead and save it. So to do that, what I want to do is in my right hand side here under options, I just want to go ahead and click clear form. And what that will do is it will clear any of the selections that I've made. And now that I'm done, I just want to go ahead and save this as a new PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and click File, and you could go ahead and click Save As. And honestly, you could save it over the document that you've already worked on, which was for me the Adobe Acrobat practice form, and click Save. And I'll just click Replace. And now I'm going to close out of Acrobat, and I'll show you when I go ahead and open it up, my form opens up. So now you can go ahead and send this form off to someone, and they could go ahead and fill out the information that they want to fill out here, putting their date, putting their name, all that stuff, selecting this, no, whatever. And then they could e-sign it if they need to e-sign it. It's asking me to create a digital signature, but don't worry about that. Once you're done, go ahead and click on the Acrobat project link, and the file that I want you to upload will be the Adobe Acrobat practice form that you've created, the fillable form that you created, and you will be done for this module. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Otherwise, congratulations, you can now add Adobe Acrobat to your list of skills and expertise on your resume. We'll see you next time.